and welcome to the 8th episode of the second season of The Lives Of. I'm your host, Audrey Creighton, and I'm so excited to share that for my 8th interview, I've chosen one of the most entertaining, witty, and kind people I know, Michelle Apuzzio. Michelle works in higher education and is all about community. During our interview, we discussed her love of Paris, the unique way she came to work in higher education, living on the East Coast, and so much more. Michelle inspires me to be a welcoming person and to live my life to the fullest. I had the most enjoyable time talking with her, and I'm so excited to finally share our interview. Thank you so much for watching. Are you ready to get started?
I am.
Awesome. Question. Could you tell me more about your childhood?
Sure. So my childhood, I grew up in New Jersey in the 1980s and early 90s. So think a lot of hairspray and summers at the Jersey Shore.
Mm-hmm.
I have an older sister, emphasis on the older, and I have a big Italian family. So
Nice.
it's a little loud, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I was a little all over the place because I can remember wanting to be a teacher. I could remember wanting to work in business. And I feel like I found something from when I was in high school in which I said I wanted to be a writer. Despite all those things, in college, I majored in physical therapy. That was kind of a funny detour, and now I work in communications and higher ed. So all over the place. But the thing it's funny, like when people find out about my physical therapy background, they're like, what? And the thing is, like, a lot of it is transferable. Certainly in my job working now, I don't need to know about a particular tendon in the elbow, except if like I start having elbow pain while I'm typing, right?
Right.
Like being able to interact with others, listen to what people need from you, and then finding a plan for, how you move forward together. That's really applicable to what I do in my job. And I think that's applicable to a lot of jobs. So I guess the lesson there is whatever you're doing, do it well, even if you're not going to be doing it for the long term. You may not be doing it for the long term, but you can learn things that, you will use down the road.
Right. Yeah. Transferable skills for sure.
Yes, exactly. I can, and I would love to, since I'm the communications person. I'll talk a little bit about the consortium I work for. So right now I am the Senior Director for Programs and Communications for the New American Colleges and Universities. I call it NACU. And I have one colleague, and he also calls it NACU. But everybody says it a little differently. Some people say NACU, some people say NACU. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I say NACU. So it's 27 institutions that are across the United States. They're known as private comprehensive institutions, meaning they combine liberal arts and professional preparation. And that's the comprehensive part, but our institutions also add civic engagement to their mission. So that's what they all have in common, those three things: liberal arts, professional preparation, and civic engagement. And they're all small to medium size. So that's really nice. I never feel like I'm working with an institution where it's like, oh my gosh, who's where and who's doing. So how did I get here? Like, how did I go from PT to higher ed? When I was in college and in grad school, I worked with the Massachusetts Board of Higher Education. And at the time I thought, okay, it's just a job. This is a job because I need money. I'm a college student. I need money for ramen. I didn't really like to eat a lot of ramen, but I'm sure I needed it for something. And, again, like whatever you're doing, do a good job at, because you don't know when it might come back to you. And, so it was just a job at the time, but I did it. I made good connections there. I really liked the people that I worked with. I hope I did a good job. And it came back 16 years. I've been working in higher ed for 16 years now.
Mhm.
And I don't think I know I didn't foresee that back when I was in, like, I guess it was my early 20s working for the Mass Board of Higher Education. So
Mhm.
right after school, I went into PR, and I had a couple different PR jobs, public relations, in case someone's watching this and doesn't know what PR is. I did a lot of media relations in those jobs, and that was fine, but I really liked writing. So after I left the second job, I became a freelance writer.
Oh,
I was a
nice.
reporter for a while.
Mhm.
I was never full-time, like in-house. I was a freelancer. So
Mhm.
I've written for the Boston Globe. I've written for a lot of trade publications, like a lot of
Mhm.
nurse journals and other healthcare
Yeah.
journals, and some other local papers around here in the Boston area where I'm based. Um, and I also started working with nonprofits as a
Mhm.
communications consultant, mostly in healthcare though. And then around 2008, that was when my contact from the Mass Board of Higher Ed, who was the executive director at NACU, um, she said, "Hey, can you write a story on, campus sustainability in, I think it was in like dining services." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, absolutely." And it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
I've been here since, I mean, I was freelanced for, I bet, I think it was like 7 years. And then since 2015, I became a full-time employee. And now I oversee programs and communications. So it's like, maybe not just, it's kind of like an avalanche, not just a snowball.
Yeah.
But it is great. And what's funny is thinking back to that first story that was on sustainability in the dining services, I just did two podcasts this year. One was on campus sustainability overall, and the other
Mhm.
one was on dining services. So
Wow.
still talking about these things.
That's such a great story. Like connections are like everything. They're so
They
valuable. That's so
are.
cool.
They are. They
Yeah.
are. My favorite part about living on the East Coast. Okay, so the one thing I was going to say that I'm obliged to say this, but I really truly mean this. My family is like the extended family in New Jersey is just like a few hours drive away. As long as you don't leave at like 3 o'clock on a Friday, then it's a lot longer.
Yeah.
But that is really helpful to be able to visit family a few times a year with just getting in the car and doing that.
Yeah.
I also really like the geography of the East Coast. For starters, I love being by the ocean.
Mhm.
Um, I also love the proximity of things here in the area. So Boston, New York, DC are all really close together, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Philly is not far, if you really need a cheesesteak. Um, and then you can also, from where I am in the Boston area, I could easily get to like 3 or 4 states within an hour or less.
Mhm.
I mean, one of those states, or maybe it's 5 states. One of those states is Connecticut, and like no one ever wants to go there. But you could if you need to. No,
Mhm.
I joke, Connecticut. I have to be careful because we have a University of New Haven,
Yeah.
Connecticut. Love them,
Mhm.
wave when I drive by. But it is a joke for people who are from the New York, New Jersey area who live in the Boston area. We were like, if we could just excise Connecticut, like maybe it'd be faster to get home.
Wow.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. I've never really thought about, I mean, being in Ohio, we're very far away from like everything. So I've never really thought about how close everything is. You could just like go from one place to another. That
Yes.
seems really convenient.
Yes, because
Yeah.
the states are small. Like
Yeah.
Rhode Island, when my son was little, we had a map of the United States, a puzzle map, and they were actually the size, like it was all in scale, and
Really?
yeah, and it wasn't like a puzzle piece; it was the actual shape of the state, which is really
Mm.
cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, like we almost lost Rhode Island under the carpet, like the area rug. I
Yeah.
can't tell you, like 3 or 4 times. I was like, all right, I think we just need to like tape Rhode Island to
Yeah.
Massachusetts or something so that we don't lose it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
My favorite hobbies. All right. I feel like I could have a whole session just on my hobbies.
Really?
Yeah. Like I have so many like different things that I like to do. I'm like, oh, can we talk about gardening?
Yeah.
But you know what I think is really interesting is a lot of my hobbies, with just a couple of exceptions, haven't changed since I was a kid. And so like I played the clarinet when I was in elementary school and middle
Hmm.
school for about 4 years. And then I took a very long break, very, very long. And in 2017, the Dedham School of Music here started a community band and I
Yeah.
began playing. And so I've now played longer as an adult than I did as a kid.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm any better than when I was a kid, but I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very different than anything else that I generally do in a week.
Hmm.
And then the other thing I did when I was younger is I studied Spanish for about 6 years in middle school and high school, and then stopped when I went to college.
Hmm.
And I just returned to studying that again a couple of years ago. So that's fun. And
Wow.
then I think the last thing is soccer. Like I loved soccer as a
Yeah.
little kid. And I don't play anymore. That would
Hmm.
probably be dangerous. But I do love to watch soccer, either live or on TV.
Yeah.
And so I do stay active by, working out and dancing, but I
Yeah.
don't kick a ball around anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So my immediate family is my husband, Bob, and our son, Noah. And Noah is a sophomore at the business school at UMass Amherst. So
Hmm.
he's heading back shortly, which he's very excited for, as are we. We'll miss him, but it's good. It's hard to get all three of us in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
However, we did do some traveling this summer. We went to Canada and we did some traveling together last summer. So traveling seems to be one of the things that can unite us.
Yeah.
We're also all big soccer fans. So we
Mhm.
have seen some games up here. Our local team, the New England Revolution, we like to go see. And we saw a preseason match between, wait for it, Barcelona y Real Madrid. I will practice my Spanish. We saw that down in New Jersey, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And also, when we go to New Jersey, getting to see the rest of the family
Mhm.
down there is really a nice time for us as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
This was also a dual answer. All right. So honestly, home,
Mhm.
because I love traveling,
Mhm.
but coming home is such a great feeling.
Yeah.
And, I love my family in New Jersey, but I really have like such gratitude for all the people here in Dedham that are like family. And, that's something really valuable. Like your family, your actual biological family has to accept you and hang out with you. But your friends who are like, what do we call each other? Family, which is really
Yeah.
to say. That just makes it. However, I was thinking, well, is that a cop-out answer? Because it's not really like a place in the world. So I would pick Paris.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
why? I mean, do I even have to explain why? We can
Probably
have a
not.
whole
No.
other
Yeah.
episode on Paris, right?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
should do that. That would be really
Love
fun.
Community.
Mm.
So one of the things I love about my job is bringing together people from all of our various institutions. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Our motto, our tagline is connect, collaborate, champion. And I really like that connection piece. Whether it's like they're coming together in a learning community or we're pulling them together for a guest speaker on a particular topic or something. I really love that. We are a consortium, but my colleague and I belong to a consortium for consortia. And that is really cool too, because then I get to consort with other consortial type people. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing. And then, but I think that it also translates into how I spend my free time. I'm in a band with like 20 other people,
Yeah.
and I go to dance class. I'm not a good dancer, but I like to dance with other people. It's a lot of fun. And so I think I just really like community and people coming together around a shared interest.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Question, what are some of your goals for the future?
World domination.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just kidding. That would be like a lot.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
That would be a lot.
Yeah.
No, I would like to become fluent in Spanish.
Oh yeah.
I would like to become a better dancer and try different types of dancing. And I also want to travel more. I have this dream that one day I live in Europe for a few months so that I can easily visit a bunch of different countries there without like, continually flying across the ocean.
Right.
Because I'm also passionate about efficiency, I guess.
There you go.
And I think that like living in a place, even if it's just for a few months, gives you a totally different sense of like the people and the culture than if you're just there as a tourist for a few days. I did a study abroad when I was in college over in Sydney, Australia, and it was different. And that's also a really tough place to get to. So I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went there.
That's so cool. I want to do study abroad and definitely live, overseas sometime in my life.
Yes, highly recommend it. I am a little jealous of my friend. A lot of my friends went to England because in the physical therapy program, you had to pick Sydney or London for the most part because they didn't have language requirements.
Okay.
And they all had these great stories about traveling all over in Europe. And so I think I've internalized that and I want to do that when I'm a little older.
Right. Yeah. That's still a great goal though.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so our final question. You're an inspiration to me because of your kind and witty personality. Who inspires you?
Well, it is really tempting to say you because you get a newsletter out on the first of the month without fail, which is super impressive, Audrey.
Thank you.
Super impressive.
Thank you.
I'm like, oh, it's a new month. I should check my calendar. I actually have a little Paris calendar here next to my desk.
Ooh, nice.
So you for sure, but I think
you.
you probably want me to pick somebody else.
Yeah.
And this was the toughest question. So I want to not pick one person.
Okay.
But I want to talk about a characteristic that often inspires me when I see it in people, and that's resiliency. And I was thinking about it in terms of, there's this guy at the gym. I've seen him a couple of times now, and he's there. He's a bit older, and he's using, I can't remember if it was a cane or crutches. I think it's a cane that he has, but he's kind of limping around. He's got crutches. I mean, a cane. And so I've been a long time away from physical therapy school. I can't tell my assistive devices apart now. But I don't know what his situation is. I don't know if it's something temporary that he has, but I think it'd be really easy for him to say, I'm not going to the gym. I gotta like walk around with a cane. Maybe he's got pain or whatever. He's definitely limping. I'm not going to go to the gym. And I just think that for me, like people who have like health conditions or other life conditions that would make it very easy for them to say, you know what, I'm giving up this or I'm giving up that because it's just too difficult to do.
Yeah.
But they keep the people who can keep doing it no matter what life throws at them are really, really inspiring to me. And so so the guy at the gym, that's what inspires me. But it's not just him. You see people all have, we take for granted, being able to easily walk from point A to point B, or being able to see us. I mean, I don't have my glasses on right now, but put my glasses on, I can see everywhere. That's not the case for everybody. And so I find inspiration in people that are resilient and just keep doing with. what they wanted.
I want to thank you so much for letting me interview you. I had such an amazing time and I learned so much more about you. And I can't wait for that Paris episode. We have to do that sometime.
Audrey, this was so much fun. I'm so honored that you selected me.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.